Kevin Costner is speaking out about his future on Yellowstone, and it doesn't bode well for the popular TV series. Since 2018, when Yellowstone premiered, it almost immediately became a fan favorite and a ratings juggernaut, with their season 4 finale generating over 9 million views, which made it one of the most popular shows of the decade. Now, unfortunately, Yellowstone's final season, which was an abrupt end to the series to begin with, had to be cut in half, with the most recent episode of the season airing in January of last year. They dealt with extensive production delays and, unfortunately, with fans wondering whether or not Costner would finish out the series due to a really tumultuous back and forth with show creator Taylor Sheridan. It now unfortunately will not be happening, with Costner releasing a video message to fans announcing he won't be returning. More on that in just a moment. But let's take a look back at what actually led to this split between Costner and Yellowstone. Yellowstone quickly went on to become a ratings juggernaut and modernize the Western in television. The massive success of the series also led to numerous spin-offs, which ultimately ended up being a point of contention between Kevin Costner and show creator Taylor Sheridan. Spin-offs include series like 1883, 1923, and even more to come after Yellowstone's abrupt end. Kevin Costner even won a 2022 Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Television Series for his work on Yellowstone. Now, the many different spin-offs of Yellowstone were not the only issue. Kevin Costner was also deeply involved in Horizon, which was limiting his ability to film on Yellowstone, and Taylor Sheridan felt as if he had too tight of a window for filming. Speaking to Deadline in an interview last year, Costner was asked about the internal turmoil in Yellowstone. Costner said, "Well, I haven't felt good about it the last year. What with the way they've talked about it, it wasn't truthful. So now I'm talking about a little bit about what the real truth of it was. I made a contract for season 5, 6, 7. In February, after a 2 or 3 month negotiation, they made another contract. They wanted to redo that one. And instead of season 6 and 7, it was 5A and 5B, and maybe we'll do 6. They weren't able to make those. Horizon was set in the middle, but Yellowstone was first position. I fit Horizon into the gaps. They just kept moving their gaps." Costner was asked in the interview about all those shows that Taylor Sheridan had been writing. He said, "That is fine, but they were silent, and that bothered me in the world of how you do things. Why don't you stick up for me? I went and sold this thing for you. I was going to only do 1 season. I made it for 3. I fulfilled 3, so I went from 1 to 3. Then I did a 4th one for them, and they wanted to do 3 more. So I made the contract do that. They imploded. I had a contract to do 5, 6, and 7. I was contracted to do that. There's nothing I could have done to get out of that, nor was I trying to figure out how when we started. When we finished, I wanted to do Horizon. It happened because they shut down 1 whole season. Didn't tell anybody, and I didn't work for 14 months. Costner reveals in the interview that they shut down production for an extended period of time because they didn't have the scripts, all while working on those other spinoffs. He said, "Didn't have the scripts, and they wrote these other 3 shows. They don't ever talk about that. And all they did was, remember we were releasing the series in June, then it moved to October. They covered by changing their release pattern. That time was about a 14-month period. I said, I can't ever go through that again, where you shut down for over a year and I don't have something in line to do. All I did was protect myself, but I didn't put myself in first position over Yellowstone. I filled the gaps. Do you see that?" Now, of course, Horizon was also a Western-themed production for Kevin Costner, and people had wondered whether or not this was his kind of escape from Yellowstone because he had grown tired of it. He says that's a bullshit story. "I didn't do Horizon because I was tired of doing Yellowstone. That's a bullshit story. I didn't do Horizon to compete with Yellowstone. This is something I've had a long time. Taylor read that script 3 years earlier when he was contemplating other writers for Yellowstone. I said, well, you can look at what John and I did. Not that I think I'm qualified. I think you write Yellowstone beautifully." So he read that and he knew what the thing was about. It's just that simple. Paramount and 101 Studios mismanaged this. They had me for 5, 6, and 7. I agreed to do it, and then they steadily began changing their format. And what about the year that went missing? That 14 months. Now, show creator Taylor Sheridan remembers things differently. He spoke about the split with Kevin Costner in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. Sheridan was asked by the interviewer point blank if there was anything he could have done to prevent the split with Costner. He said, "I didn't do anything to begin with. I don't dictate the schedule. I don't determine when things start filming. I don't determine when things air. Those decisions are made by people way above me. My sphere of control is the content. That's it. No production of mine has ever waited on me. Believe me, I begged for more time with 1883. I begged with 1923. Begged. Nope. Air date locked for what we pay you. Figure it out. And I don't stand in a corner and go, I'm not going to do it. Now, Yellowstone recently resumed production a few weeks ago on the remainder of the 5th and final season. And there was a lot of hope that maybe Costner could return to the series and just finish out the show. And unfortunately, Costner has eliminated hope of that happening in a new statement to fans I'm going to show you in just a minute. But this also makes you wonder how they're going to be able to finish the show off without Costner even participating in the closure of his character. And he's such an important person in the history of the show, in the series, in the writing. So here is what Kevin Costner had to say, revealing to fans that he will not be on Yellowstone.
Hi, everyone. I just want to reach out and let you know that after this long year and a half of working on Horizon and doing all the things that's required and thinking about Yellowstone, that beloved series that I love, that I know you love, I just realized that I'm not going to be able to continue season 5B or into the future. It was something that really changed me. I loved it, and I know you loved it. And I just wanted to let you know that I won't be returning. And I love the relationship we've been able to develop, and I'll see you at the movies.
So you heard it from him directly. Costner is not returning for the final episodes of Yellowstone. It makes you wonder how they're going to deal with that without his participation in the series. Again, production just resumed. Let me know what this means to you in the comments. Will you be tuning in? I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's your latest update here from CountryCast. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.